Please come to where I am now, better than before. Through those open doors, where I am now, where I am now, I'm in a special place, a tender warm embrace, where I am now. It's now time for the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. The music that you hear in the background is none other than Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, where I am now. And if you'd like to see us live in WGPL 1350 studio, all you have to do is go to Edward Everett's Facebook page, Miss Yolanda the Lady Hinton Facebook page, and guess what? You can see us live right here in WGPL 1350 studio. And if you want to hear us all over the globe, all you have to do is go to 1400 AM, 1350 AM, or www.christianbroadcastingcompany.com. Click and listen live. And now I want to introduce to some and present to others the host of the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, and a pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning. Mr. E, is a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Would you, could you, will you be my neighbor?
Let's welcome our neighbors, our WGPL 1350 AM listeners.
Peace 95.3 FM and WPCE 1400 AM.
Facebook Live is on and popping. Good morning, Lawanda Tillett. We also want to welcome Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment. We'll shout you out later on in the show.
Like, share, subscribe, and comment.
Like, share, subscribe, comment. We promise we'll shout you out later on in the show.
Shout out, yeah.
Mr. E, it's a beautiful day today in the Hampton Roads area. We're expecting some wonderful, wonderful weather this week. But in the meantime, how was your weekend?
I had a wonderful weekend. I want to let everybody know that this is the last Monday in the month of February. Oh, what a great time we had last night at Friendship Cathedral. CBC put on one of the greatest concerts last night. And I want to say thank you to Paul Boone and Robert Walker and, the original Pearly Gates and the new Pearly Gates and, the anointed voices. Thank you all so much.
Mr. E, I heard you was the MC, one of the MCs.
I was one of the MCs last night. What a ball. What a ball. What a ball.
Wow, well, the next time you all have something, let me know, okay?
Okay, I'll let you know. I will let you know because we want you there in the house.
Oh, wow. Well, that is marvelous. I tell you what, I had a wonderful weekend, did a lot of things here and there, but it was productive. I had a good time, plenty of rest, and just a wonderful, wonderful weekend. The weather got a little bit cold, but other than that, it was just fun.
And I was at Chuck E. Cheese. If you look on my Facebook page, you see me with the mouse. My granddaughter had a birthday.
She was a busy brother.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, Mr. E, it's Monday. And it's our Monday Sports Talk. But I tell you what, we're putting another spin on it because this is the end of our Black History Month.
That's right.
Almost finished with Black History. And we're going to do the most significant moment, figures, and accomplishments in African-American sports history. But first, we're going to do our current job list.
For our current job listing, here it is. Get your pen and piece of paper. Don't forget the Lowe's, Home Depot, Federal Express, United Postal Service, and Prime, and all those folks are looking for folks to want to work for, wants a job. And don't
Yes.
forget that if you have been incarcerated, you can get a job also because they have programs. Yeah, Home Depot, Lowe's, they have programs. Hair Teeters, they have Food Line, they
Yes.
have programs set aside just for you. For kids, in Suffolk is looking for a family case manager. The Edgar Care ARE is looking for a prison outreach service coordinator, a program coordinator, a payroll coordinator, and an event program coordinator.
All right, child care aware of Virginia Eastern Regional Manager needed. Heritage Humane Society volunteer and humane education manager. Families of autistic children of Tidewater external relations manager needed.
And Southampton Roads is looking for a resident service assistant, a POC victim advocate, a marketing a marketing and communication coordinator, a director of human resource, a crisis service specialist, a counselor one, a clinical manager.
All right, Western Tidewater Free Clinic, Director of Development needed. Virginia Opera, statewide grant writer needed. Another grant writer needed. They need also a at the Virginia Living Museum executive administrator.
The Up Center looking for dad engagement specialist, and TCC Workforce looking for a technical trade program flyer.
All right, Suffolk Center for Cultural Arts. They need a development director. Judeo Christian Outreach Center. They need a residential service worker full time, and also a house and stabilization specialist is needed.
Help and an emergency responders looking for YFSA, and they're also looking for a volunteer coordinator.
All right, I tell you what, is there any more, Mr. E?
Yes, there are some more. They're also looking for a crisis coordinator. The Girl Scouts of Council of Colonial Coast looking for a fill data specialist. Yeah.
Yes, and for kids, family case manager, Bay Agent Mobility Manager. They need a Bay Transit, Armed Services YMCA Developmental Director, and Nauticus Foundation. They need an assistant store manager.
You know, we got a whole lot of jobs out here, Miss Hinton, and nobody cannot say they don't need a job. We got some new jobs up here too.
Absolutely.
That we haven't heard anything about, like the help, emergency, and response looking for YFSA. I like to know what they are.
Absolutely. Yeah. I tell you what, go online on my page, Yolanda Hinton, on Facebook, Edward Everett. You can find him on Facebook with the job listing. Also, go to LinkedIn, go to FYI Radio Show hosted by Yolanda Hinton. It's there. Share it, email it, do what you got to do. Get a job if you need one.
Get a job.
Get a job.
Get a job.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good morning, Miss Roberta Carter, Mr. Mark Howard. Thank you so much for tuning in to the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world.
Miss E, did you see the NAACP Awards?
No, I did not see the NAACP Awards. I think I fell asleep on all that.
Well, you can always go and visit it and look at it on various channels. Very interesting. A lot of great awards going to a lot of great folk. In the meantime, Mr. E, we are here on Sports Talk. And of course, we're going to talk about sports. Now, we want you all not to worry. I know we just finished our NFL. We're getting ready to do the NBA. But on today, it's Black History Month still. And we're going to talk about some of the legends, some of those that have made history, some of those that have made a great mark on our society through sports.
That's right, Ms. Hinton. There's a lot of folks who made society, and also through verses of sports like Mr. Bob Gibson, ML play Bob Gibson. He's tremendous in all around athlete. Gibson averaged 22 points per game for the Cretan as a college basketball player, and also for the Harlem Globetrotters.
You need some glasses.
For the Harlem
Oh
Globetrotters.
Lord. For the Harlem Globetrotters, really?
For the Harlem Globetrotters.
All right now.
Lord
Give us
Jesus.
some more info.
Okay. For the Harlem Globetrotters for a year. But he shined for the brightest on the pitching mound, where he would win 251 games and 2 World Series during a Hall of Fame career with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Wow. And that's
Mr. Bob Gibson.
now I don't think well, if you were born in that era, you could forget anybody like this, which is the definition of a barrier breaker.
Yeah.
And his name is Ash.
Yeah.
Ash.
Arthur.
Absolutely. Arthur Ashe. You know, Arthur Ashe back then, Mr. E, was absolutely brilliant. We really,
court.
you know, the thing about it, Mr. E, we really felt pride.
That's right.
When we saw athletes, our African American athletes play. And Arthur Ashe, he shattered walls as an athlete and activist.
That's right. That's right.
He remains the first and only African American man to win Wimbledon, the US Open, and Australian Open. In 1968, Ashe became the first Black man to be ranked as the world's #1 player.
When he was denied a visa to play in a tournament in South Africa, Ashe decided himself to expose the injustice apprehensions in the country and was arrested for protesting the treatment of humanity refugees.
I tell you what, we honor all these athletes. You know, the thing about it with Arthur Ashe, you know, the end of his life wasn't that pleasant. He contracted AIDS through he had a heart bypass surgery, and the blood, I believe, at that time wasn't. They weren't able to find out if they had this type of disease within the blood of during that time, and he was given a blood transfusion.
Yeah.
And now he got sick and he died of AIDS.
One of the best basketball players of all time, Miss Hinton, Mr. Bill Russell.
Ooh.
Bill Russell was the most profile winner in professional sports. Russell captured the NBA championship 11 of his 13 seasons. Russell was an NBA first African-American superstar in the 1966. He became the first African-American head coach of the major professional sports team in the modern era. When he became a player, a manager of the Boston Celtics, and 2 years later became the first Black man to coach his team to a championship. Also known for his indomitable nature, Russell was an activist for equality in his time and refused his Basketball Hall of Fame for the 44th year and Chuck Cooper, the first African American drafted in the NBA, was elected. Bill Russell was a guy that was off the chain, played against people like Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Havlicek, Dr. J. He played against a whole lot of great stars. Magic Johnson.
Yes.
He played against a whole lot of stars.
And he recently died. He didn't die a long time ago. He just recently died.
They got a documentary on about Bill Russell, and you know, I'm saying to everyone, go ahead, look at it.
Absolutely. We have Bo Jackson. He became an MLB All-Star, an NFL Pro Bowler.
That's right. That's right. Bo Jackson was one of the greatest baseball players you ever wanted to see, Miss
But
Hinton.
he was an all-around, all-star, all-American athlete. He did more than bowl, didn't he? He was. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
He was a Pro Bowler also. He was he was an All-Star and a Pro Bowler in the league. You know, Miss Hinton. So.
NFL player.
Barry Bond was a NFL player. Bo Jackson, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Bo Jackson was an NFL player, also a Pro Bowler.
Absolutely. And who do we have next? Oh my goodness, it's so many
When we
of them. Go ahead,
when
Mr.
we
E.
look at it, we got a whole lot of other other stars, Miss Hinton. We got the Mr. Gibson, and we got the
We have
Los
Althea
Angeles
Gibson.
Raiders.
Uh-huh.
Art Shell. Art Shell became the NFL first African American head coach. Art Shell, when the Los Angeles Raiders named Shell as their head coach in 1989. Miss Hinton, in 1989, in the 80s, there he was the first African American head coach. He became the first African American to hold
Wow.
the role in the modern NFL. He was preceded only by Fritz Pollard, who was the co-head coach of Akron Pros in 1921. At and an eight-time Pro Bowler selection as a player and a member of the Pro Bowler Hall of Fame. Shell was named AFC Coach of the Year in 1990 when he guided the Raiders to a 12-4 record and the AFC winning championship.
Wow.
Yeah.
Greatness.
My hat's off to them. I mean, Miss Hinton,
Absolutely.
we be surprised of what's going on.
All right, let's talk about Althea Gibson, a groundbreaking athlete for both women and men, and African American alike. Gibson was one of the first women to cross the color barrier.
Women. Yeah, that's a woman.
One of the first. That's right.
Yeah.
To cross the color barrier in professional sports and became the first Black woman to win a Grand Slam title in tennis when she was victorious in the 1956 French Open. She would go on to capture a title at each of the Grand Slam tournaments for a total 11 Grand Slam championships overall. She also completed on the LPGA Tour in 1964, becoming the first woman ever to compete professionally in both tennis and golf.
That's right. Our hats off. I mean, you name it. And I'm about to go blind here.
Well, Mr. E, this is the thing. These wonderful, wonderful athletes, trailblazers, made us proud. They made history.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, at that time they came up, it wasn't the best of conditions. African Americans were suffering still from racism. They were also activists. So in the political game, they were, ostracized and pushed aside. And they had to really go through a lot just to play. We talk about Hank Aaron sometimes, and he was called every name in the book spat on. These people wanted
Jackie
to
Robinson.
Absolutely. They made a statement. They didn't just play a game. And I want you all that are really, really young to know that these athletes had to go through. They had to suffer. They had to trailblaze. They had to be. Some of them were the first, and they suffered as the first. But look at us now as we see that them going through, Mr. E, has a lot to do with how we are succeeding now in sports. And are we everywhere? We just had two African American quarterbacks. And that's what I'm saying. Yes, absolutely.
To play at this branch, 2023, to play in a Super Bowl, two African Americans to now start playing. And, it's amazing how we have to endure and have to go through so much as an African American. Ms. Hinton, when we talk about African Americans, we'll find that we still striving. We still going through. We still having it hard, having it hard out here. We still, racism has not stopped yet.
It has not stopped, but we have fought our way to where we are. You can't stop our talent. You can't stop what God has given us. You can't stop change, because change took place as a result of these pioneers and these activists and folk that believed in themselves, and they pushed forward. And today we have athletes African American athletes playing in everything, winning in everything. They're rich, they're billionaires, they're millionaires, they're owners. They have so much, and they can make ways and avenues for others. They have paid the price for us, and we're very glad about that.
You know, Miss Hinton, we went to when I went to Tokyo for that gymnastic. We want to take our hats off to Simone. What a wonderful job that
Yes.
she did with the in the Tokyo Olympics, taking center stage this summer. Millions all around the world watch Simone to defeat everything that's running around there.
Muhammad Ali. Remember Muhammad Ali? He was also an activist and a pioneer and a trailblazer. It's so many,
Naomi,
so
the tennis
many,
player. Yeah,
so many. You know, when I think about Althea Gibson, it makes me think about Serena Williams
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
Venus.
yeah, yeah.
Because if it wasn't for Althea, we wouldn't have them.
That's
She
right.
made a way and opened doors and suffered the price to play so that those young ladies could come up and be champions. You know,
Serena
it's just
Williams. Yeah.
amazing. It's just amazing. So many people. We have so many athletes now that are just doing greatness and doing things because of those that suffered for us.
You know, even down to swimming, all
Yes.
sport that we have, have accomplished, like Simone Manuel in 2016 at Rio, made history when she became the first Black American woman to win an individual gold medal in the
Yes.
Olympics swimming. She ended up taking home 4 medals totally. And she was a young lady. She was
Yes.
a young lady taking on winning all those goals and defeating a lot of folk.
Who else in sports, Miss Lee, stands out to you?
Miss Shaka Richardson
Mhm.
also burning onto the scene with her flamboyant orange hair. An
Mhm.
Olympic medalist, first place finishing in the 100 meter. Richardson quickly became a household name, but soon after her triumph, she, tested with drugs. So, she did a wonderful job. So our hats off to her and Missy Copeland, one of the greatest, one who won in being a ballerina. In
Yes.
2015, Copeland became the first Black American woman to become American ballerina, to perform in a ballerina theater, dancing. After 75 years, she widely known as a dancing protege as she danced 3 months after her first dance class.
Absolutely. Let's go to Jackie Robinson and baseball. He made his debut with the Brooklyn Dodgers on April 15th, 1947, and broke the color barrier for African Americans in baseball. He was the most eagerly anticipated debut in the annals of the national pastime sports. Authors Rupert Lipstein and Peter Levine wrote, it represented both the dream and the fear of equal opportunity, and it would change forever the complexion of the game and the attitudes of
We
Americans.
also want to mention in track and field Gabby Thompson and
Mhm.
also Miss Florence Griffin.
Don't forget Jesse Owens.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jesse Owens, that's all in track and field. What a wonderful job. Miss Jonah Childs, who won a great job. And even down in soccer, women who was done, Miss Crystal Dunn, who did a wonderful job, even in soccer.
Absolutely. Now we have Charlie Sifford, first black golfer in the PGA. Long before there was Tiger Woods, there was Charlie Sifford, who had been referred to as the Jackie Robinson of golf.
And the 15-year-old Miss Coco Gruff, who played during the Wilmington debut in 2019, and named her the national headline when at 15 she became the youngest tennis player to compare to the tournament in 28 years.
What about Wilma Rudolph, first American woman to win 3 gold medals at the Olympics.
You
Oh
know,
my goodness.
and not only that, Miss Candace Parker in the basketball field.
I want to go. Let me go back to Wilma for a minute. I want to tell people a little bit about her. Despite being diagnosed with polio as a child, Wilma Rudolph would grow up to become the fastest woman in the world of her generation.
Mm.
Competing in the 1956 Olympics in Australia, Rudolph would take home the bronze in the time 100-meter relay, but it was at the 1960 Olympics in Rome that she sprinted her way into history by winning 3 gold medals, becoming the first African American to accomplish such a feat at a single
Miss
Olympics.
Hinton, I don't know if you know anything about speed skating.
Yes,
You
of
know, you saw
course.
that in on the Olympics.
Uh
My
huh.
hat goes off to Mama Brini, who won first place in the 500-meter in 2017.
Yes, Gabby Douglas. Did we talk about her yet?
Yeah, Gabby. Yeah,
Gabby, the first Black gymnast to win individual all around champion. Oh my goodness. And she's a young lady and she's already made history as the first. We have so many folk.
rugby players.
Yes.
First women that plays rugby. Naja Trapper played rugby, and she was one of the youngest rugby player there was.
Yes.
Rugby is another form of football. If you
Mm-hmm.
notice in football, when they trying to get that first down, they all crowd up in a crowd and they push each other all the way down. That's rugby.
Wow, we have James Harden. They talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We talk about Julius Irving, and so many of them. Russell Westbrook,
Yeah,
young men
yeah.
that have really made their mark in history.
You know
It is just
when you
marvelous.
talk about Russell Westbrook, he's a speedster. They said
Ah,
Westbrook, he played with the Lakers, said he runs so fast that he run right past the basket and try to make a layup.
oh my goodness, so many greats, so many people making their mark. If it wasn't for the pioneers and those that have paved the way, we wouldn't have the greats we have
That's right.
now.
That's
And
right.
we just give tribute and honor to those that broke barriers, that went through all kind of things, that ran through troops, leaped over walls, that had to be talked about, scrutinized, beat up. Oh my goodness. But they still endured. It was something about them. They were truly champions, not just for the sports they
Yeah,
played, but
yeah.
for what they did and how they endured to the end.
Yes, I want to say good morning to Miss Sheila Robbins and to Miss Katrina Brown. Thank you so much for tuning in to the most talked about radio show. Mr. William Brown, thank you so much. Miss Jewel Corporal, Mark Howard, Miss Crystal Hinton, thank you so much for tuning in to the most talked about radio show. Mr. Greg Bell, thank you so much for tuning in to our great radio show.
Yeah, so Black History Month, of course, we will continue to celebrate it beyond February. Make sure this is a teaching moment for other races to understand who we are. We don't let them identify them. God already tells us who we are. We are great. We're champions. We're strong. We're warriors. We've been fighting for what we wanted, and we will continue to fight till the end. So we want you all to have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Make sure you join us tonight at 6 p.m. on all social media platforms. We have Miss Katrina Burns, FYI After Dark. Be blessed. Now, look, if you get a chance, come over here on social media for a few minutes and make sure you enjoy this beautiful day. Goodbye now. We'll see you back here on Wednesday.
Now, better than before, through those open doors where I am now. For the past 30 minutes, you've been listening to the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI Radio Show. If you'd like to be a special guest, a sponsor, or like to support FYI Radio Show, all you have to do is pick up the telephone and give us a call at 757-714-7861. Or you can go to Edward Everett's Facebook page, Miss Yolanda Lady Hinton Facebook page, or FYI Facebook page and inbox us and let us know that you would like to be our special guest on the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. Don't forget to join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9:30 to 10 right here on WGPL 1350, WPCE 1400, and 95.3 FM. And have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Monday. We can chill, see, life's not easy as it seems. Sometimes. 1350
Again, we give tribute. We honor those that have come before us in sports. And our Black History Month is, to me, Mr. E, so important because it's a time where we can celebrate, think about, teach, and learn more about who we are. And we have accomplished so many things. We have come from slavery to where we are in this country. And
That's right.
I
That's
just
right.
thank God to see the transition, to see what we have gone through, and still we rise.
You know, Miss Hinton, I hope that we take all of this into consideration, all the things that we have done and all the things that the Lord has blessed us to do. I hope that we take it all in consideration and stop being fighting one another, because we had the most fight in the whole world against other countries, other race, and we had to prove ourselves to be who we are.
Those that are fighting one another and doing all kind of things, we would really hope that you're inspired by those that had to really suffer to be where we are now. And so, you know, we give props to where we have come from. Where there's some things that we need to do in our communities. We still have to care for those that need. We have to care for those that have to grow, because we have to teach. And so we want to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do and making all of us better.
You know, Miss Hinton, that's, you know, when we look at Black History Month, and, you know, it's being celebrated all over the world, not just in the 757, but it's all over the world. Folks are recognizing that in February is Black History Month. It's a time for us to take the whole 28 days and to recognize our accomplishments, the things that we have done, and the things that we have endured, what our forefathers had to go through for us, what our grandparents had to go through us, our grandmothers, and the things that we had to endure to bring us to where we are now. You know, Miss Hinton, in Washington, D.C., they got the African American Black History Museum up there where we can see.
It's beautiful, too.
Right. And right here in the 757, when you go out to the botanical gardens, you'll see that the flowers that we had to cultivate that land, and we had to make that land so beautiful that now flowers are growing like never before right out there in the botanical gardens, because we had to cultivate that land.
Yes, we are a great people. Don't let nobody tell you all nothing different. Don't let anybody identify you as nothing but great. We have come a long way. We have such gifts and talents, and we have to learn how to appreciate us, appreciate one another, and to make sure people know who we are.
That's right.
As African American.
You know, Miss Hinton, when I look around, I'm hoping that all of us, male and female, black and white, when you stand in front of your wash and dryer and say to yourself, this was made by us. You know, it was
so many things.
So many things. And when you're sitting out there relaxing in the sun and you're sitting in your lawn chair, yeah, it was made by us. You know, the thing that we take for granted, the thing that we are using daily. Spoons and forks, knives were made by an African American, you know. So you can also say it was made in the USA, but it was made by the hands of an African American.
It was invented. We have invented so many things. Make sure you all Google the inventions of our people. And see, because some people don't realize, you know, the things that they use every day. They don't realize when they go to a traffic light that was
That's right.
invented. They don't believe some of the medicine that we have. They don't believe some of the procedures
That's
that
right.
we've done in medicine. They don't understand that that all comes from our blood, our people. And so we are honored. I'm proud and
That's
I'm
right.
really glad, not only just for our talents, but our fight as soldiers. We are here because we have fought to where we are, and we will continue this. Will stand up for the rights of all people. And that's one thing we I wanted to mention Martin Luther King, and he wanted to fight for the rights of all
All people, yeah.
individuals, especially Black people. And so, it's important that we give people a right to live. We give people the right to be human. You can't sit back and say we're superior to you. Wait a minute, we come from the same God you came
That's
from.
right. That's right.
You can't tell me that I'm inferior, you're better because you got a different color. Ain't no such thing. No
Now, when you
such
cut me, you cut this. When you cut me, you bleed the same
thing.
color that I bleed. You bleed, Miss Hinton. I'm so glad that we can recognize we got a month to set aside and years that's down the road that we can look at and say we did it. We did it. I
Yes.
think so much of Dr. Patricia Turner, who was our special guest, said
Yes.
that because we are going through life struggles and things that we have to endure, that we were built to be soldiers. We
Absolutely.
was built for this test. We were built for this war. We was built to endure.
Absolutely. We have a few facts some people may not know. We have a historian who helped establish Black History Month. We have historian Carter G. Woodson, the creator of what was presently known as Black History Month. Oh my goodness, Mr. If you could show the picture of him, if people could see, it's just awesome. It says it's been nationally recognized since 1976. Let's see who else do we have here. We have Black History Month has a different theme each year. I don't know if you all know that.
Yeah.
The first state to abolish slavery was in New England. Um, that's a Black history fact. First mosque in an important town in Black history was, of all the cities you learned about in school that no longer exist, Fort Moss, pronounced Mosey, is one of the most important. More than 250 years ago, when people who had escaped their enslavement made their way to St. Augustine, Florida, and it's pronounced Mossy. We've got more, Mr. E. And we don't have to go through all this, but the practice of vaccinations in America has as interesting roots. Like we said, medicine.
That's
You
right.
got Black history linked to, and Black people linked to that.
And that was in the Massachusetts colony, Miss Hinton, and told church minister Cotton Man about the way to incubations, which practiced in African for centuries.
Yes, you all go Google these things. Please learn more and more. You'd be surprised about history and what has come about through the efforts of African Americans. And so, again, Black History Month, we just thank God that we can stand back and look at ourselves and see progress. We can see education. We can see love for country and love for one another and the fight. And we're just glad about it. We're not perfect people, but we are people and we are human and we have done so many great things.
Do you think that some of our ancestors who paved the way for us, Miss Hinton, is really upset when it comes to the way the world is today?
Don't be upset.
Do you really think they said to themselves, for all I've done, for all I've been through, for the being instead of hunting dogs, hunting black folk that I had to endure. I think they're smiling on us. They're having a great time smiling because the thing about it, they did not have that kind of play in life.
Martin Luther King had a dream, a vision, and here it is. We can see it. And so, I think the ancestors they would rejoice because there were privileges that they would have never seen. They would never experience like we are now. The thing about it, if we're not taking advantage of the times and the things, the doors that God has opened for us, that's on you.
That's right.
That's on you, and you, if you're sitting back and not taken advantage of what God has done. I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm going to thank God. I'm going to rejoice in the fact that there was a time, honey. There was a time that we couldn't go nowhere, couldn't be nowhere, couldn't be nobody. We couldn't be millionaires. We couldn't be all that.
And if you had a little money, they say you stole it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was a time, and so we rejoice. The ancestors should be rejoicing at what has come about through God's effort and through our efforts.
Miss Hinton, and that's something that we can be proud of. We can also walk around holding our heads in the air and really just saying thank you for all that we have to endure, for the changes that made us. And like, just think for 1 second that if we were back there in the days of old, being whipped and being tied up, being strung up in a tree, and now that has that spirit has been broken, and we can live in our own homes, live and enjoy our own backyard without nobody telling us what to do and how to do it and what's going on.
They would be proud because the injustices that we still face, people have been born to fight those injustices. Yes, they would be proud. Yes, they would be thanking God that we have the fight in us that they had in them, that we now can gain more knowledge to fight against the law that have caused so much injustices. They would be proud. They would be really proud of what has happened now in this day and age. And so I encourage you all to be the best, be your best, do your best, and help somebody else to be their best as well. Just got his fingers up.
That's right. I just want to give you time to let folks know, don't forget to join us to After Dark. FYI After Dark with our special guest, Miss Katrina Burns. And don't forget to join us. Listen, all you have to do is join us. We'll be like we here today on Facebook. Just chime in on it at 6:00 p.m.
on all social media platforms.
All social media platforms. What a great topic on today.
Absolutely. We'll be talking to Katrina Burns. She's a young lady she's a real estate agent, first of all, a mother. She's single now. So we're going to do, suddenly single. All you single folk, make sure you tune in, because she also has a podcast talking to single men and women and talking about her journey and talk about some of the things that you have to endure, some of the things that go along with, looking for a relationship or not looking for a relationship, but loving oneself. So we're going to be talking with her 6:00 p.m. on social media platforms. You all go to LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook Live, wherever you want to go, and join us there at 6 p.m. Also, don't forget and don't forget our upcoming shows. We got some shows coming up. We're going to celebrate National Women's Month, and we'll be talking a lot about us women, okay?
Yeah.
And also, don't forget about young women achieving success. We're still recruiting. The Royal Ladies Pod, Lord, something wonderful has happened today, and I'm so excited and nervous at the same time. Bullying is right underneath your nose. Get the book. It's in hard copy, ebook, and it's also a Audible.
Yeah.
Okay, in Spanish and in English. Okay. The music, and also we can host your special event, special occasion, and you could be a special guest sponsor intern with FYI Radio Show.
Miss Cynthia, you just talking about Women's Month, which is in March. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard of a Man's Month?
Y'all celebrate all time. We got to have our time, okay?
Men need a month also.
Go ahead and take it. Yeah. Go ahead. Y'all can have all the months you want.
I'm going to come up with one, let's say in April. Mm-hmm. It's going to be Men's Month.
Go ahead. Go and get your props. Do your thing.
We want the world to acknowledge us also.
Well, I tell you what, somebody has put together a National Women's Month, and we're going to celebrate that on FYI Radio Show. Looking forward to it. Now, ladies, if you are doing some things and you want to be on the show, you make sure you contact 757-714-7861, or just inbox me or Mr. E and say, hey, look, I'm somebody that is doing some great things. I have some great information and things to share for your listeners and your viewers. I would love to be on. So, Miss E, Give us that information.
If you'd like to be a special guest or sponsor, all you have to do is inbox us at Edward Everett's Facebook page, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton Facebook page, or FYI Facebook page, or email us at FYIRadiosHowLive@gmail.com. Again, that's FYIRadiosHowLive@gmail.com.
So we'll see you soon. Don't forget, join us tonight, 6 p.m. We're looking to see you there. If you can't make it tonight, and I hope you will, join us back here Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
And two up and two down. Don't forget to join us tonight at 6 p.m. and we talk with Miss Katrina Burns. Have a good one. Two up.